Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And good morning to you. It is time for Coffee Ann here on ON Radio on this Wednesday morning. It is May the 7th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. We'll go around the table and say good morning to John Ward. Hi, John.
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
Good morning, everyone.
Be quiet, you're maroon.
Who invited him?
What a maroon.
And he's wearing maroon, so that's nice. Tim Draper from Navigate Credit Union is here. Hi, Tim.
Running for Pope if anybody's interested.
Oh, great. We'll send up the smoke signal soon. And Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine Communities. What are you running for, Melissa?
I'm
The
not.
boss.
The boss.
I'm running out of here is what I'm doing. You all missed the before the show commentary, and I'm just feeling like, I don't know, full moon, something's happening. Everyone's acting a little wacky.
So speaking of wacky,
Wacky.
How about a first message from the
How
St.
about a
Antoine
very
Communities?
simple conservative message from St. Antoine Community?
All right.
Stay tuned for the second message, which will be a little more wacky. So for those of you that don't know a lot about St. Antoine Community or all the services available on our property, we are located in North Smithfield, and we're right on the line of Blackstone and Woonsocket. On our property, we offer assisted living. We offer short and long-term skill care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, as well as 2 levels of memory care, assisted living, and skilled care as well. So if those of you that are listening might be kind of in a situation at home and you're looking for guidance and some direction on when it might be time to place a loved one, feel free to reach out to me. Be happy to walk you through your options and kind of explain the placement process. You can reach me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
All right, Melissa, thank you very much. Well, John, on Monday, the Woonsocket City Council passed the 2 resolutions for the second time. So we're going to get a homeless shelter in town. And by a close vote, went from 5 to 2 to 4 to 3 for the encampments to be basically, they got to go away.
Well, yes, over time.
Yes.
The mayor has made it clear he's going to do it compassionately.
Mm-hmm.
He will persuade them to leave.
And how will he do that? How do you
Well, the
persuade
first
them to
thing
leave?
is when the shelter opens, they're going to be advised to go seek shelter at the shelter.
Okay.
And if they choose not to or refuse to, then they will be told they have a certain amount of time to leave, whatever time he determines that to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, then the city will likely hire a contractor who deals in hazmat material and things to come in and separate their personal belongings from the trash that has to be removed. And then they store that, according to the ordinance, they have to store it for them to come pick up for like 72 hours, and people have to arrange to come pick it up. And I think,
And if they don't, do they just toss it out?
no, I think they'll hold on to it. I don't think they'll just throw it out unless it's marginally useful.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's other personal belongings, if there were wallets or identification documents or anything like that. Medical record information, you don't just throw that out.
Okay.
But I think the important thing is people will probably realize that they need to reevaluate their situation, and many might leave voluntarily and try to go to neighboring communities out in the woods and set up an encampment there. And just realize they have to walk a little further to get to the social services, which won't be
A lot
just down
further.
the block anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
How long will it take to get the shelter up and running? Did anybody talk about that?
I don't know. As far as I know, they don't go to great lengths to improve the building as long as it's legally habitable. From what I understand, the shelter down in Pawtucket is pretty sparse, and it's not something with fancy beds or anything like
Do you
that.
have to worry about handicap
it's just like
accessibility or
metal
anything? Do you have to worry
cots. Well,
about
they have
any
an
of that
elevator in the
criteria?
building, then it's functional, so they can get up and down from the different
There's ramps
floors.
entering the building, things like that.
There's a basement entrance in the back that's
Okay.
ground level.
Okay.
So if you come in the back, it is handicap
Okay.
accessible, and
So,
there's
yeah,
an
then they-
elevator up to every other floor.
And that was
So that's-
formerly
It was the Viola Barad Center for Education for.
so there are rooms
Special
that are
needs
bedrooms
people.
in those.
No, there's no bedrooms. Basically, when the water department's been using it, and I don't think they're going to take it over until the city moves the water department employees out into their new building, which they're in the process of doing right now. But it's basically an office building.
Is it? Okay.
And there's different sizes of offices, or what used to be conference rooms, and maybe they were using them as personal training or personal education rooms for people. And there was some open areas and a kitchen down in the basement that's not been reset yet that I'm aware of. So likely they'll be using the upper floors for just bedroom space. And I don't know whether they're going to do any renovations to accommodate adding showers, because right now all it is more like office space and normal institutional bathrooms for people to use, and there's no shower facilities or anything like that that I'm aware of. So,
Do you know if there was a budget that went along with having to open this?
they have a budget that they got from the state grant to operate it. The city's
Okay.
not spending any money at all.
Open
that's
Doors
right. That's
got
right.
the grant.
Open doors.
Open Doors got the grant.
Open Doors got the grant from the state, yes.
Okay.
And they were going to use it for the YMCA, and that got dropped, and now they're going to use it to operate out of 181 Cumberland Street.
Okay.
Under the lease agreement the council approved.
Okay, so we got the homeless shelter now, and then there's still the Dignity Bus, and there's still that other shelter that's on
The
Clinton
Dignity
Street.
Bus, I believe, got additional grant funding to
Did it?
extend it out till August or something
Okay.
like that. And I think the Social Street the Clinton Street building, the old social department store, that Thundermist operates, I don't know when they discontinue that. That might be now or June 1st or something like that, that it'll be discontinued. And
Okay.
I'm not sure how many beds are in there that are being used.
So the goal is to shift everything to this hub
The goal is
location
this
now.
will well, this shelter will operate under a lease until September of '26, and we always have had the two buildings on Sale Street that some families use. Mothers with children use that facility for their shelter. That's been there since the '80s. Well, yeah, I guess the '80s. And this will be the other shelter combined with the Dignity Bus for singles who are out there looking for a place to stay.
Now, the shelter on Cumberland Street only can bed 50 people, and
Yes.
people keep saying there's a lot more than 50 homeless in this city.
Well, as you said, the Dignity Bus has space for 20.
20.
And I believe the shelters on Sale Street house over 30. So
Okay.
combined, I think we got over 100 beds for homeless people in this city. And as Councilman Canoyer made the point of saying, we're the only community in the state right now that's expanding our homeless service availability. And relatively speaking, 100 beds is a large contingent relative to the numbers compared to the populations in other cities.
Yeah. Okay, Tim, I don't know if I brought this up last week or not, but Jim Canoyer, basically called Cumberland Town Hall looking for homeless.
Numbers from
Not
Cumberland.
numbers. A shelter of some sort.
Yeah.
He pretended. I'm paraphrasing now. Pretended to have a friend that was homeless. And what facilities do you guys have?
Yeah.
Seeing what they have, that was it. None.
None.
Please go to Providence or Woonsocket.
I think
Is what they were
they
saying.
suggested they have a relationship with Open Doors in Pawtucket.
Okay.
And if that's nothing available there, then you might want to contact Woonsocket because there may be something
Okay.
there.
What about North Smithfield, Melissa? Do you know?
I don't know. I feel like you asked me
Lincoln
the
doesn't
same question
have it,
last
right?
time, and I wasn't sure.
I'm not aware of any.
Feel like there's rumor mill that there's homeless encampments across town, but I haven't heard that there
are.
any effort to.
Oh, there's some.
Yeah,
There's some
but
in-
I
There's
haven't heard that
encampments in
there's.
Cumberland.
There's
Are
some
there?
in Cumberland,
Yeah.
there's some in Lincoln, there's some in Burrville.
But not that
I
I've
mean,
heard that we have
in
shelters or
Blackstone.
housing options available to them.
I think the only reason Cumberland is getting picked on, it's not to blame him, but it's because Pat Ford comes to every meeting, and everybody knows Pat Ford. He's a big advocate for putting as many homeless beds in Woonsocket as you could possibly put. And oh yeah, you live in Cumberland, Pat.
Get him out of my
If he
town.
lived
Tagline.
in Lincoln, we'd be picking on Lincoln.
Oh,
because
well,
he lives in Cumberland, everybody's picking
Pick
on
on
Cumberland
Cumberland.
because
Okay.
Pat comes into Woonsocket to tell Woonsocket what they should do, and people get upset and they say, "Why don't you go tell Cumberland what to do?"
Yeah.
We
So now they're trying to organize a group of people to go to a Cumberland Town Council meeting and start screaming,
Jeez.
"When are you going to do something for the homeless here?"
Oh man, were you surprised at how many people came out basically against the encampments at the last city council meeting?
You mean
Against
against getting rid of the encampments through the ordinance?
Yes,
Against the ordinance?
against the ordinance.
No, not at all. I'm surprised there were not more
More?
state-level people and even higher numbers coming in there to speak against the ordinance. It seemed like a fairly small turnout compared
Okay.
to what I expected.
All right. Well, it moves forward, and were you surprised by the vote? Originally 5-2, then it went to
I
4
was
to
a
3.
little surprised with Sharon Harmon. I could tell
Changed her vote?
she's not a sophisticated politician because she framed her argument about the fact that the human service director had gone full-time, which was actually in place long before the first vote happened. So I think she was persuaded in conversations with the human service director and other members of the council to change her vote on the matter, because she mentioned the human service director. It's likely that conversations shifted that. But she was still fairly adamant about wanting to see the problem ended. And she has been, and she challenged the people. I thought it was particularly impressive that three council people challenged the people who were there to speak against the ordinance, who work for CCA or whoever's affiliated with CCA, that hands out the needles and said, when are we going to see you down there picking up the trash that's left behind by the people that you hand out needles to? When are you going down to pick up those needles instead of leaving it for the city to take care of? And I'm paraphrasing.
Crickets.
I'm paraphrasing, but
Yeah.
it's sort of the punch back at them, because they're part of feeding into the problem by just giving them stuff and never working with them more hands-on to make sure that the, as Jim called it, their own private little landfill gets created in the encampments. They're there to hand out the freebies, but they're not there to pick up the trash.
afterwards. Okay. Well, we'll hope the shelter works out and the encampments go away.
I am confident that the shelter will work out. I think the fear that people have that it will make for a terrible neighborhood is not a problem, because from what I've heard about what they operate in Pawtucket, which is right downtown, it's innocuous. It blends right in. You don't even know it's there.
Okay.
And it's not something where they throw them out at 7 in the morning and put them on the street and make them walk around all day. It's available to them where they have services provided during the day. They have service providers come in and work with the people who are living there. So it's actually a better kind of shelter than just having a bed from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. I think it's going to be a better opportunity for people who maybe actually do want to improve their lot in life.
Well, I hope so. All right, other things going on. The date has been set. The Board of Elections says there'll be a special election to fill the vacant Senate seat of the late Dominic Ruggiero. They will have that election in August. First, they gotta, take out the papers and do all that stuff. If a primary is needed, that'll be held on July 8th, and the special election is scheduled to take place then on August 5th. This includes parts of Providence and North Providence. So, all right, that's what's going on there.
Didn't we?
Yes?
Why don't we just contact the labor union leaders across the state and find out who they're going
Who
to
it's
anoint?
going to be? Well, you might hear about that a
Why
little.
waste all that good money on an election when it's simply an anointment anyway?
Wow. Cynical.
John?
I warned you
Come on,
before
no.
chatter was.
I'm still waiting for the special plates to come back, so I can order mine. I'm going to have it. My registration plate say Cynic.
Cynic. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that.
Vanity plates need to make a return.
Did anybody make it down to the Centerville Stadium to see soccer or rugby over the weekend?
No, we had a couple people
No.
go down from work, but
Yeah.
No footage looked good though.
Yeah.
I mean, except for the pouring rain on
Yeah.
Saturday,
Well, that happens,
middle of the game. But yeah, no, everyone seemed to be having fun. 0-0 though, first game.
That's too bad.
No
That
score.
not
Ooh.
one goal was
Yeah.
scored. Yeah.
I was doing a first communion in Virginia. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, we had all the good stuff first, and then all the not so negative stuff is starting to filter out from people that went.
Oh, all right.
And
You're
here-
gonna give us the ugly.
Like the $30 plus.
The
price tag on a
$30 sandwiches, the $5
What?
bottles of water. There's a
I didn't hear
The
about this.
lobster roll.
Lobster roll for
apparently lobster
35?
roll's like $35.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, would you?
I paid 38.
I'm
the
not
other
sure
night
I'd
for
have a lobster roll anyways at a sporting event. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how much the hot dogs are, but they complained about that, and they complained about the bottles of water were $5.
That's
a
about
bottle.
right.
That's $5 is standard.
That is
Is it?
standard.
Okay.
Once
Yeah.
you're trapped in one of those environments, $5 is standard.
I know.
6 in Disney. Just
Don't. How long does the game last? They turn on the timer.
2.5 hours.
2.5
Yeah, soccer's a
All
long
right,
game.
You know what? Have
Not-
lunch before you go if you don't want to spend that kind of money. Just sit there, don't drink water, and watch the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right now there are
Ooh.
no options. I don't think around there for food choices outside of the stadium. So I think Once they start to build around there, which hopefully they will,
Or a little
if they
pregame
do,
meal or.
there might be some other opportunities for people.
But we heard tailgating was allowed. I had friends at the Apex,
Apex,
parking
yeah.
lot that
Okay.
tailgated ahead of time. They said they had a blast, so I feel like that's people
I heard
just
some-
will
I heard
figure
some
out
of the.
the.
Some of the neighboring parking was like $20 for.
I heard
park.
that too.
So there were people complaining about the expense. I was more concerned about the fact that when I saw the picture in the paper of the rugby match the next day,
No lack of crowd.
a lack of anyone.
Well,
I don't know if there was anyone there. And those are nice organizations to put into a stadium like that, but they have to pay the stadium people a fee
Yeah.
to use it, so they then have to attract the crowd and sell tickets. And if
Well,
they
doesn't
don't,
that come
I
down
can
to
say
how
though,
long
but
can they
there's-
do that?
there's-
some marketing problem?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a
Yeah.
marketing opportunity
Right.
there. Little pre-game.
Right. It drives. So I'm on the Blackstone River Theater board of directors, and we talk a lot about the performers that Russell gets to come in and perform. There's a certain expectation that they're going to bring their followers along with us. We'll do a little bit of advertising. Russell does a really good job at putting it in the Valley Breeze, so everybody knows about these things. But the performers are supposed to do it too, and you can really tell those who put effort into it
Yeah,
and those who
that
don't. Those who put effort into it will sell the place out 160 seats in no time.
Okay.
But those that don't, they might get a crowd of 20,
Yeah.
30 people. And then they look at us like it was our fault. And as Russell, who's been in the business for a long time,
Yeah.
points out, well, what did you guys do?
Yeah.
What did you do to help yourselves, with the crowd?
Yes.
Well, nothing.
Because part of this is we're going to give you a percentage of whatever it is that we
Yeah.
make in order for you to perform. You clearly didn't do any work, so what do you want
Yeah.
from us?
Right. That reminds me of my experience at Rhode Island Junior College, where I attended for one semester.
Reject.
But I was actually in a course for theater arts.
You?
Yes, but not as
You
an
like the
act-
backstage?
But the funny thing was,
It's so making sense now.
that,
Theater.
well, here's what's gonna. No, you got to listen to see what makes sense.
Good.
I was in a theater arts class, and they were going to put on a play, Midsummer Night's Dream, and basically they would put on the show, and maybe some kids' parents would show up usually, and things like that. No, I didn't do any acting. I didn't do any set building. I did marketing, and first time ever, sold out every show. We were putting little stickers up all over the building. We had card tables out in the hallway.
This is
selling
pre-social
tickets.
media era.
Oh,
And-
way
Yeah.
pre.
Stickers.
And yeah, you just poster board cutouts and stuck them up on walls. There was little sayings about different characters in the play, and just invited students. The place was filled with
We need
students.
to go back to retro marketing.
There you go.
A little retro marketing.
Stickers,
Little
It worked
event
fabulously,
posters,
grassroots.
and we were
black
able,
and white images.
Telephone pole boards.
Yes.
we were able to raise money for the program just by selling it out.
But see,
3
that's
days
just
in a row.
Yeah.
proof that marketing works.
So it's funny. The moment that you mentioned there wasn't a crowd, and after a big game on Saturday for soccer, and the next day is followed by rugby, I immediately think, well, that's because rugby doesn't have a following in the state yet. You can't just plop it into Rhode Island and expect people to show up.
Right.
But I would have piggybacked it, or I would have had it be like the game
Same
before,
day.
bundle a ticket price, something
Yeah.
to lure people in.
They could have gotten probably 2,000 or 3,000 people.
100%.
if they knew how to move.
Exactly.
The product.
I didn't know there
Just
was
call us. We've got. We can figure
There
this
you
out.
go.
I
There
didn't
you
know
go.
there was a rugby game.
We got your
until,
back.
Until like the week before.
See,
And they
there's
said, "Oh,
the-
we're doing
there's
a
the-
second game right after
there's
that."
the issue.
Yeah.
But
right
when
there.
you read the story, it's a rugby game that's a league.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
That's
league.
going on in the
But
area.
there's a
It's a
great
professional.
opportunity. We're on the heels of the Olympics last year, which rugby got a tremendous amount of attention, especially the women's team, because
Yeah.
they were so good looking, and everyone was shocked at like how well they performed. Then, you take that and you roll with that and you build upon that. And there's a lot of thoughts. I mean,
Yeah.
as to why that tanked probably on Sunday, but hopefully.
All right, Melissa, we got to take a break.
Oh,
We're running along here. So time for
wowzer.
a
Man,
second message,
I'm
please.
getting really bad with my second. All right, I'm not even going to talk about
Saint
I'm gonna
Antoine.
say that.
Just
I
winging
know.
it, baby.
I'm going to wing it. I'm just going to simply say, right now, if you are in need of any kind of support for a loved one, as I mentioned in my first message, we have assisted living, we have short and long-term skill care, rehab, etc. As a community, we are full in every entity, and so it's really important that there be some thoughts and planning done in advance of an emergency. And if you think, oh, nothing's going to happen, my mom's 85 or my dad's 90, and we're a ways away. Anything can happen at any point. It's just really important to familiarize yourself with the process and get an understanding of what placement might look like when the time comes, and also just to tour the environment. St. Antoine might not be for you. It might be another facility. It's just like looking for a college. I've compared that a lot. If you've ever done the college search process with your kid before, going and seeing different campuses, you have to find the one that fits best for you. So I'm always open to meeting with families and walking you around and explaining the process to you. So if you would like to meet with me, you can reach me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
Thanks, Melissa.
You're
More
welcome.
of the Coffee and program coming your way. Stay tuned.
Are you retired or retiring soon? That's great. Congratulations. You may be retiring, but your money can't afford to retire. I'm Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3, Cumberland, Rhode Island. At the Carew Investment Group, we offer personal investment management of client money, especially from the proceeds of their 401k distribution after they leave the workforce. So to find out more about our services and for professional management of your investments, call Ed or Paul Carew at 765-8880. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
We're always here for you. ON Radio.
All right, Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper and John Ward. And, good sign that summer is coming. Scarborough Beach and Salty Brine Beach open for the season
Are they putting
this
lifeguards on those
Saturday.
beaches?
Yes, that
And
means
the
that's
water
why they're all gonna be
temperature
open.
is a balmy
Must be-
45.
That's
You can
Good
skate
luck.
on the-
Well, you don't have to go in the
It's still
water.
polar
They just
plunge.
said in the news this morning it's like 45 degrees at the beach.
Yeah.
The water temperature at the beach. Unbelievable.
And so they're going to be open on the weekend starting this Saturday, and then after Memorial Day, open 7 days.
Yeah.
So we go from there. And yeah, in fact, my daughter is going to with a friend of hers is going to Second Beach in Newport
Oh,
today.
that's my favorite.
I'm like, are you going in the water? I go, it's going to be
I
kind
love
of
Second
cloudy,
Beach.
but maybe sunny in the afternoon. She's like, oh, and not that warm.
No,
I said, she goes, I'm bringing sweatshirts and sweatpants.
It's
I
just
go,
to sit on the beach.
are you going to
and
go
be
in
near
the water?
Ocean. I get it.
Every Mother's Day when my girls were little, I had this novelty of going to the beach with my girls on Mother's Day, right? Like go to church, go to breakfast, and then just head down to the beach, just sort of like break it in for the season.
Okay.
And every year, it
You
was
didn't
like
do it?
wind whipping, raining, and after like 5 attempts, I'm like, I'm done. Which is coming up this weekend, and I'm thinking your daughter is gonna be bundled up today. There's gonna be sand in her eyes. It's not gonna be as pleasant as she wants it to be. It's
Maybe not.
It's not quite. I know, but
She's a
she's a
kid.
kid. Oh,
They love stuff like that.
Is that
So
is
it's a
that
little early.
Is that the surfing beach in Newport? Is that Second
That is a
Beach?
surfing beach,
So
yeah.
maybe they just the two ladies
Just
might
watch-
just be
just
going.
watch the
We're gonna watch the
surfers."
surfers.
Yeah.
for
Maybe.
a while.
Narragansett too is another one that everybody surfs at. So
I don't want to over promote Second Beach because it is my favorite.
I don't
You don't
want you
want
to
to
go.
And everyone, I know.
everybody
I
go to
know.
Roger Wheeler. That's a great beach.
No, I can't even go there anymore. I can't. But Second Beach is just so
Sandhill Cove.
quiet.
That's what we used to
Sandhill
call
Cove.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Tim.
Yeah.
Up in Mass.
Oh.
In the old financial institutions, Santander Bank is closing 18 branches.
Ooh.
6 in Massachusetts,
Mm-hmm.
Boston, Middleton, Norwell, Woburn, Worcester, and Salem.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they ever really caught on. They
Well,
were going to
they
be the ones
s-
to capture the Latino population because they're a Spanish bank.
They say they're the third biggest bank in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Well, after this, they
Well,
probably won't
we
be.
were
right?
They're
members.
closing branches down. They're not
Who did
leaving
they buy-
Massachusetts.
Who did they buy in Massachusetts when they first came? I know they've got Hospital Trust
Oh,
in Rhode Island.
it was Sovereign.
Was it?
Well,
No,
they rebranded. They go Sovereign to Santander
Sovereign.
because we were
yeah,
Sovereign
it was
members,
Sovereign.
and then
it was
became
Sovereign.
Yeah.
And it became Santander.
I just don't know which of the statewide banks they took when they moved in. I know.
Is
like
it
I
just
said,
lack
Sovereign.
of accounts?
Rhode
Well, no,
Island
there's
Hospital Trust.
it's probably a bunch of things.
Okay.
I mean, digital banking has just changed the landscape, so you can do it anywhere. You don't need to have branches. You can have ATM machines that are fully interactive, and they replace branches. And so, and quite honestly, finding people to work in a branch is not easy.
Getting more
And,
difficult.
you know,
yeah.
good quality folks who can provide good customer service. Because it's not so much that about the process and the technology. We can teach you banking. That's easy. I can't teach you personality. I can't teach you the skills that required to be a nice person and treat people nicely. And if you look at this current generation, and I'm sorry, I'm going to generalize rashly.
I know
here.
you're not looking at me, right?
No,
'Cause
I'm not.
I'm too old
You're
for
much
that
younger
generation.
than I am. If you look at the population, their interpersonal skills are not great.
Yeah, and I always stood by the principle of hire for attitude, train for skills.
Right.
Okay.
You get people who have the right attitude.
Oh my God, you can
will
totally
always
mold
win.
them.
And anything they don't know, you can train them.
I was ready to hire the guy at the Dunkin' Donuts around the corner who handed me my coffee.
We've done that.
That was the
'Cause he's
most
good?
I've hired somebody from Dunkin'
welcoming
Donuts.
start to
That
my
was a-
day.
That's creepy old man
That's how
asking
my
her if she
wife
wanted
got her
another
first
job,
job in a
but-
customer service department at a manufacturer. She was a bank teller,
Yeah.
and the guy that came to the bank every day just loved the way she gave performed service as a bank,
here's my
and offered her a
card.
job.
Cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
100%.
And she got a job in the manufacturing industry.
I think
as
that's
a
what you
customer
have to
service
do
rep.
now because you can't.
Yeah. And so that's the point, Joe. If you can't find the right people to man your branches, then you close branches down because they are
Okay.
expensive. In our case, we're fortunate that we can continue to expand branching because we understand that there's a combination of the way delivery needs to get done. It needs to be done in a branch. People, even young people, need to go in and have confidence that they're talking to somebody about really important financial decisions. And then then there's people who just don't want to come into a branch because they don't have the time because they get their kids going to soccer and basketball and travel baseball and every other thing that they're doing, and they don't have time to go into a branch. So digital banking is very important. The ability to do everything you can do in a branch on your phone is really what we're trying to do, and I think what everybody's trying to do, really. And I think that's probably why you see some of these bigger branches closing down.
Yeah, and testimonial, I will tell you. So this is totally Tim's first message, by the way.
Might as well just be my first.
But mine as well, babe. But we were members of. I always said Santander. That was like a.
That's actually how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's how you
I always said
Santander.
I had to add a little flair
Not
in it when I would say it at
Santander,
my
they
house.
hate
But we left them and we went to Navigant. Not just because I liked him and we've gotten to know each other in the air,
Sure.
but we had heard from a lot of friends and family, so we went to the local
Okay.
branch. But yeah, out of the gate customer service was exactly what sucked us in. And we had a
And-
22, 23-year-old girl who graduated from North Smithfield High School who was helping us out. Very knowledgeable, sweet, charismatic, and I'm like, so much better customer service than a bank we've been with for 10 years.
Interestingly, resume review and interview is much different if you walk in looking for somebody who has the right personality and skills that way. Because a lot of times you'll see very heavily laden resumes that look like great resumes.
Yeah.
And the people walk in and they're a cold fish. Well, they think they know
Well,
everything.
especially when you can have AI draft your resume for you now, and
Yeah.
it's
almost making them meaningless.
it is. It's certainly making someone with very little experience looking way beyond, and it's just missing all the personality that might be done in a handwritten resume.
Right.
But yeah.
All right. Well, we had this story a couple of days ago, and it was a man from Woonsocket had to be rescued up in Franconia, New Hampshire.
Isn't that his
And now we have
second time?
and now we have a name, Edward Pimentel. He admitted he was unprepared to go hiking.
Yeah.
And got caught in the wind up there. He was on the Garfield Range, if you know where that is in Franconia, and he was rescued around 4 a.m. This is last Thursday, and New Hampshire Fish and Game said, "Yep, we're billing him for the rescue."
Yeah, was he the one that had it? This was his second time.
I don't know. It doesn't say that.
I thought I heard a story that this was their second go around with being lost in the woods in New Hampshire. But yeah, I did hear that he was going to be billed for all the.
Well, once
rescue services.
you admit, yeah, I was unprepared. Well, there you go.
Yeah, but
Of course, they can always tell if you were unprepared too.
Right.
If you're up there in t-shirts and shorts.
yeah,
It's when it's
Exactly.
30
it's
degrees.
I wouldn't climb one of those areas in t-shirt and shorts in August.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Long
Because
pants,
I've heard
the
about
bugs.
weather coming
Yeah.
in August.
Yeah.
That just
It changes on
Or
the
have it in your
dime.
backpack.
would kill you.
Right. So, all right. But the man is from Woonsocket. It doesn't say what the bill is. I would love to know what
Yeah.
they charge
Yeah.
for this kind of thing. It's got to be in the thousands.
Oh yeah.
Once
It's
that
cheap.
helicopter goes up looking for you, it's not. Yeah, it's not
As soon
going
as
to be
they
cheap.
turn the engine on, then
Yeah.
you,
$5 grand. There
you
it
hit
is.
your first 1,000.
Ka-ching.
They have arrested a man in Pawtucket for shooting, charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of a 28-year-old man in Pawtucket yesterday. So actually, the day before. 25-year-old woman, she was shot as well. She's expected to recover. The person that did the alleged shooting is Eric Peterson. He's reportedly a bail violator, and he's ordered held without bail down in Cranston.
Cranston.
Yep.
All right, I know you like to pick up weird stories, and I just happened to see
Is
one
this a
this
weird
morning.
story?
Joe?
No, it's
I
about,
brought a
it's
list of weird stories too, so you go
It-
first, and then
All
I'll
right.
give you mine.
I don't have the details
The
because I didn't
battle
bring it
of
with
weird
me, but it was
stories.
something I read quickly before leaving this morning about a woman who disappeared in 1962
Yes, I saw that
in
story
Wisconsin.
too. Yep.
And she vanished, and they were
Yep.
never able to find her, and eventually they just gave up, and they reopened it as a cold case in 2024 or 2025, and the detective that was investigating actually found her,
Yeah.
and it turns out she was very young, and she was married, I guess, and was getting away from an abusive relationship,
Was
and
she?
she
Okay.
simply made herself vanish.
Yeah.
They didn't say who she is. They didn't say where they found her
Yeah.
because they didn't want to protect her. But basically, she made herself vanish and just went off into the sunset,
Oh, wow.
and was
She had
unknown,
the strength to do that.
and she's still out there. And they found her now in 2025.
It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
That's
I would
Full
imagine
closure.
she's probably in her 70s or 80s at this point.
Yeah. Now, what's your weird story then, Melissa?
I don't really. It's not weird, actually. I heard a not fascinating story. Okay, I'm really not setting this up very well. I was hoping you were going to bring up the story. I believe it was in Texas. I had heard about this. So I don't know if you guys, if your kids participated in this when they were in high school, but Senior Assassin. Have you heard of
Yes.
this game?
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear
yeah,
the story
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to reference?
No, I haven't, but I know about
Well,
the
I
game.
will just say, so I hadn't really thought twice about it. My daughter's a senior this year, and she came home all excited. Oh, I signed up for Senior Assassin, and I'm like, oh, okay. I've heard this has been like a long-standing tradition in the school, and I heard other schools do it, whatever. So first time at our house, this kid is lurking, evidently, in our yard for a half hour. We had no idea. We found out after the fact. At night, kid comes home from practice. It's dark out. Comes out with this water gun pointing it at my daughter's car. Now, there's rules attached to this game where, like, if a parent comes out, they can ask you to leave the property. That protects your kid. They can come back in the house, and boom, they're safe. The game continues. So my husband went out, talked to the kid for a while, got him to leave. But the visual was awful. I'm just going to tell you. Like, the water gun in the window, the fact that it's nighttime.
Yeah.
We're in 3 acres of land. Like, I was thinking to myself, if we lived on, like, a 10,000 square foot lot, neighbor, someone might have actually...
Somebody's going to get killed.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so that's how I'm setting this up. So we automatically, as parents, were like, I'm not sure I love this game. Not in this day and age. It just feels, I'm uncomfortable by the visual of this kid I've never met
uncomfortable
before.
with the name.
He's been hanging out in our yard for a half an hour. Like,
Yeah, really.
can probably look in our windows, can probably see if you're home, can whatever. Stalking. It's stalkerish a little bit, right?
Yeah.
All of it, and then the visual of the whatever. So fast forward, we're not happy, but it's happening and it's underway, and I'm not gonna. What can I say now, right? The story came out of Texas that this boy was on the back of a truck hitch,
Okay.
participating in this game in his school, Senior Assassin, and fell off the truck trying to get an angle of like shooting someone that he was targeting, and ended up getting like run over, and he's on life support
Wow.
right now. It's bringing attention, this game, et cetera, et cetera. And now a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon of, yeah, it happens in our school, and I'm not a fan, and it doesn't look good. And I'm thinking, yeah, like
You
we're
ever
in a
heard of-
time
you
of
ever-
school
you ever heard of-
shootings and all these things.
Yeah.
The visual
I mean,
of having these
You got
kids.
castle doctrine. Some guy in Texas or Arizona or New Mexico or Florida coming out of their house, seeing somebody with what looks like a gun on their
Yep.
front lawn.
Bang.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Gone.
saying. And So, anyways, I'm just bringing attention in a
Bad
sense to a
idea.
story that I had heard about, but then also I have a feeling coming.
Tell them to go start chewing on Clorox pods.
I know. Well, my
Tide pods.
There
Much
are other
safer to eat
variations.
Tide pods.
I'm learning there's other variations of this game that have happened in other schools. Now my daughter is dating someone who goes to Moses Brown, and they do something called spooning, and I guess it's very similar, but you have to put the spoon in their bag or their pocket or something, and that's how you've gotten. I don't know. It's a much more delicate natured game.
It's a new version of tag.
Kind of. I'm like, why can't we just do flag football? Why can't everybody just wear little tassels?
Why
around
do we
their
have
hips
to?
and-
Why do we have to?
How many
single
things
people
go
out?
wrong with swatting?
Or
Right.
It's
All right, we
just-
got to take a break right now, but more is coming up, so don't you worry. And it's time for the weather forecast being brought to you by Unbound.org.
Gradually becoming mostly sunny today with a high of 72 and a slight breeze from the south. Tonight, patchy fog after 10 p.m., otherwise mostly clear skies with an overnight low of 53. Thursday's weather, partly sunny skies, 75. Friday, a 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms are possible, mainly after 1 p.m., mostly cloudy skies all day, high of 57. Rain on Friday night. Saturday, a chance of showers in the early part of the day, then tapering off to mostly sunny skies in the afternoon. High of 67 and a breeze from the northwest. Sunday, Mother's Day, sunny with a high of 73. Monday, sunshine and 77. And Tuesday, mostly sunny skies and high of 79 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, cloudy skies and 60 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming
A veterinarian?
a doctor, is right.
Doctor.
An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own at unbound.org. You will always find great homemade food at one of the best restaurants in the Blackstone Valley, Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street in Woonsocket. They're open for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week beginning at 6 a.m. and on Fridays they're open for dinner until 7 p.m. You can always get breakfast all day long at Missy's Family Restaurant. And don't forget about their award-winning Dynamites. Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street in Woonsocket.
Hey there, Blackstone Valley. The Valley Breeze is bringing back the Voices of the Valley Awards, and we want you to be a part of it. Who's got the best burger? The coolest hidden gem in town? You decide. Nominate and vote for your local favorites and help crown the best businesses, people, and places in this exciting community competition. Visit voicesofthevalley.net to learn more and vote daily for a chance to win cash prizes. That's voicesofthevalley.net.
Coffee and ON, thanks for joining us this morning. This is Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and John Ward and Tim Draper. Tim, you're up. Your first message from Navigant Credit
Cautionary
Union.
tale. I'm going to tell you all a little story. Yesterday or the day before, we had a young woman of 67 years old come into one of the branches
How old?
looking for 67.
Okay.
A young lady.
Coming in looking to take out $16,800 to buy her grandson a car.
Okay.
The teller staff started asking some questions. She, the way she answered the questions sent up some red flags for the tellers. So the first branch said, "Sorry, we're not going to be able to help you with that," which is hard to say because it is your
Their
money.
money,
You
yeah.
didn't get it. So the woman left in a huff, and she went to one of the other branches. In the meantime, now the conversations throughout the branch network had started.
Yeah.
Look for this woman. This is what's happening.
This is what you're looking for. Yep.
Goes to the next branch. Our next teller, who was super good customer service, got her to sit down and talk a little bit. Found out that the phone she had in her pocket was on and open. And it was on with the person who was telling her to go into the branch and what to say and what to do.
Wow.
And in the meantime, while she was engaging the woman, the woman started to look a little uneasy. They actually had a number on file of a relative. They contacted the relative. The relative immediately called or came in to see the mother. And as it turns out, the grandson is not getting a car. He's only 14 or 15 or something like that. And that she was being scammed. And it was live and in action. And our team was
so sad,
on it,
though.
and they were all over that. And my point here, folks, is that it can happen to anybody. You are going to get swept up with emotion. You're going to be concerned. They're going to tell you things that you can't believe, and then you're gonna just panic. Don't panic. Stop, take a breath, And more importantly, when we start asking you questions, it's not because I'm interested in your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we're trying to protect you and keep you safe with your money. So just bear with us if we start asking questions when you're going into the branch, if it looks like an unusual transaction for you. Try to be as honest as you can, and don't be afraid. There's no judgment. We understand this is happening to everybody, and it's not just 67-year-old people. It's young people as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cautionary tale there is just everybody needs to, if it's not, doesn't seem like it's right, it's probably not. So 233-4700, you can talk to our security team. Go to the Navigant website if you're just looking for some basic information about scams and what's going on. Give me a call. I'll try to walk you through it.
Did she ever say, the person on the phone, what they wanted the $16,000
Nope.
for?
No, I think what happened was eventually that she just hung up the phone.
Okay.
We probably convinced her to hang up the phone.
Because I can see them saying, your son's and your grandson's in jail, and we need $16,000 for
Yeah.
bail. Now to go get it, so that no one asks questions. Say you
Right.
need the money because you're buying your grandson a car.
Well, you remember the video, the first video we showed at that senior thing about
Yes.
the attorney
Yeah,
who
almost got scammed.
almost got scammed because of the grandparent thing. The
Yeah.
grandparent thing is rampant right now.
Wow.
So just be careful.
Oh, okay.
That's why I live my life as a cynic, because you're safer as a cynic. You don't
true.
believe
That's
you don't
right.
believe anything. You
All
don't
right.
trust
Get that
anyone.
license plate before John.
You assume the worst.
I'm waiting for you to go into the cell phones are the devil, all
No.
of that, and just
No,
go live
no,
in the woods of
no,
northern
actually,
Maine. And
actually, as a cynical
out of
person, I
society.
try to treat it as a tool and nothing more.
Yeah.
If I can't use it to my benefit, I don't need it.
I don't know. I think I was actually speaking about myself. I'd like to say the cell phone should go away.
Self-reflection.
I think I was pointing it at you,
It should
but
go.
I'm like,
It should go away in
That's all me.
schools.
oh, it should go away They just honestly, it's the source of
So
so
let
many.
me set up the
bad
rest of the
things.
show, no matter what you were prepared for.
Yeah, okay.
Put your notes down.
No, but I.
Next Monday, the budget for the city has to be presented by the mayor
All right, that's
and
nice.
Karen Reed. I'll stop talking.
All right. But I did this a few years ago.
Oh,
Took
he's
my-
trying to keep us focused.
Yes,
Yes.
Took my daughter and a couple of her friends. We went to Canopy Lake Park.
Yeah.
And I took my cell phone and actually left it in the glove compartment, and I was off the
You had
grid.
a great day.
I said, "This is great.
Yeah.
I can't get a hold of anybody, and nobody can get a hold of me."
Yeah.
But didn't the back
This
of
is
your mind,
super.
though, weren't you worried about, could I be missing something?
No.
No.
Yeah, see,
Because I know it was only going to be for a few hours.
Yeah.
And it's I'll find out later on.
Yeah.
I know.
If I really
know.
needed it.
I did that
you know,
very
and-
thing yesterday. I took the dog to
was
Lincoln
nice.
Woods to walk around the circle.
Yeah.
And realized when I got there, it's like, I didn't bring my phone with me.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, well.
It's like, oh, and of course, as I am, I simply said, oh, okay, and I kept going. Just
right.
Walk.
There
and
is something
find
to
out
be
at the
said
end.
that I think if you have your, if I have my little family of 4 together in one space, I kind of say, I do have aging parents, but my sister lives locally. My brother's an hour away. I'm going to give myself.
Put them away.
So
decompression.
Saturday was a beautiful day. Everybody's phone stayed inside, put the music on. We did yard work together all day. They loved that.
I'm sure
But
they did.
they got tapped out a little bit too. Everyone took a moment, a couple hours of just not
That's
needing
great
to
if you can
be
get that
in
done.
your phone and just breathe fresh air.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's very good.
All right, but that progressive commercial, I still think is pretty funny.
Oh.
When they're all sitting around the table,
Yeah.
and the dad says, "So this is phone time. Okay,
Yeah.
put the phones down, and
Yep.
we're all going to talk." And Jamie says, "Ground turkeys is
Yeah.
the best turkey of all." Okay, pick up your phones. That's pretty funny. All right, talk about stupid lawsuits. All right, this is one of the dumber ones I've heard in a long time. A football fan, all right, is suing the NFL. You know why? Because they're upset that Shadur Sanders' performance in the NFL draft is causing him emotional distress.
Yeah, I saw that article this morning.
Jaw's hitting the floor. You have any idea what we're talking about, John?
I just think the judge should fine for the NFL and tell this guy he owes them $10,000.
Sanders was expected to be a first-round pick, but ended up getting chosen in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns. So the unidentified plaintiff is looking for $100 million in damages for, quote, severe emotional distress and trauma, unquote. The plaintiff is from Georgia. He's a self-proclaimed huge fan of the Colorado Buffaloes, where Sanders led the college team to a winning season as the quarterback. He accuses the NFL of colluding to hinder Sanders' draft selection and possible racial discrimination.
So I want to know what the proof he has of that is, number one.
You can't have any.
Right. And then my other thought is, will the NFL potentially settle with that guy?
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not either. I hope they just go, you're an idiot.
I would hope that a judge
Throws it out.
simply rules in favor of the NFL and has him ordered to pay the NFL whatever their attorney's fees were just to respond to the filing in court.
Right.
Right.
So this
Period.
is
That'd
an
be a good
average
And
fan.
have no
Yeah.
hearings.
So what's
your
going to
basic
prevent?
NFL fan.
Okay, so let's just say how many times we've watched playoffs or whatever in sports, whether it's basketball, football, whatever, and you feel like a game has been thrown.
All right.
Well, you've
As
been-
a fan,
Right.
you have the right. Like if this actually were to come to fruition, it's going to just expand into all these other lawsuits. You have the right as a fan to what?
Sue because you
every
didn't
time
like
you
the
Sue the
outcome.
suspect.
team.
Yeah, I
This
want
is
to
gonna
know.
happen,
Sue
or you
the, sue the
suspect-
umpire for making the
I
wrong
want
call.
to know which Celtics player I can sue because
Oh,
they
that
weakened
game.
at the
Oh,
end.
my
They
God.
weakened at the end of the game
Oh
the
my
other
gosh,
day.
that was
that's
awful.
that's
Like-
a perfect
That's a
example.
great example.
What the heck,
Yeah.
right? So as a fan, I have distress
That's right.
from that,
And you
from
should be
watching
co-
that
you
last half.
You
That's
should have distress.
You should be compensated
I-
for that.
I
then.
should be compensated. I'm going to go sue them for $1 million. Like,
I
what?
was stressed out just watching the last 2 minutes.
I know.
And then the
If you had
overtime.
evidence of being so stressed that you were hospitalized, that you were whatever,
You've got other
maybe, but even that I
Yeah,
wouldn't
even that's
justify.
no
But
case.
this guy has nothing
That's-
other than what he hoped would happen and didn't
that's,
happen.
That's his problem, not the NFL's problem.
Right.
Exactly.
All right, just wanted to bring that one up. Okay, as we
Go
know,
back to your list of dumb stories. Keep going.
not that this isn't a dumb story, but I just find it funny because they're over there at the Vatican,
Yeah.
and we're gonna elect a new pope.
Yes, we are.
130 men have gotten together, and they're
Yep.
gonna vote. And what I did hear is they go into like complete seclusion.
Yeah.
They take away their cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
No,
Everything.
no
No
paper,
electronics,
no
no
TV, no
nothing.
radio, no nothing.
There's radio jamming so that the people
Yeah.
can't eavesdrop on the conclave.
No
Yep.
influence.
And so there we go. But in this day and age, you can bet on anything.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And bookmakers say the odds-on favorite to be the next pope is now a close race between two cardinals. Over 130 cardinals are convening at the Vatican to select the new pope. Since supposed death, betting platforms around the world have been placing odds on who will be the likely successor. In the lead is Cardinal Pietro Parolin, a 70-year-old Vatican diplomat and the Pope's Secretary of State.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be known by, I guess, all of them.
Right.
All right. And in a close second is 67-year-old. Wish they'd go younger. You know. But
Problem is if
anyway,
they
That's
go
one of
younger,
the
they serve
reforms
longer.
that should happen. But keep going.
it's 67-year-old from the Philippines, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, who's been called the Asian Francis because of his commitment to social justice.
Right.
They don't give you the odds. I wish they did.
What's interesting is
5 to
Melissa
1,
and I have
6 to
seen
1.
the movie Conclave. We were talking about this
Okay.
earlier, and you guys have not. But if you watch the movie, what was interesting is those leading candidates, the ones that the odds makers are going to say are going to be the Pope,
Yeah.
in the end, oftentimes don't turn out that way at all.
At all.
Francis was a guy that was not
He came
even
out of
on a
nowhere-
radar
nowhere,
screen, came out
yeah.
of nowhere. And in the movie, the guy that is elected Pope, not even on any. I'm not going to tell him who it is, but not even on anybody's real radar screen. Just
No.
kind of came out, and
Slipped in. Yeah.
it was a speech that he made
Yeah.
that everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that's the guy," and it was just
So in the movie, is that what they do in the conclave? Do people get up and say, "Okay, I want to be pope because
no.
maybe
All the
CD
stuff that's
did"?
happened beforehand, all
Yeah.
the meetings and the greets, the meet and greets.
Okay.
What they're saying is that's the time they take to get together and learn about each other.
Oh,
I'm sure
okay.
they all have
That's the
profiles.
political side of it. Is
That's the
sort
political
of the.
side. That's
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to vote for this guy. Who are you
Yeah,
going to vote
who
for? I
you
think
vote
there's
for.
some of that goes on.
I see.
I mean, it's sort of like nobody thought of Barack Obama to
Right,
ever
right.
as a presidential candidate,
Right.
Yeah.
and then he got up and made one speech at
Yeah.
the Democratic National
Yes.
Convention,
Yep.
and all of a sudden he was the leading candidate
the
for
guy.
president.
So that's a very good example.
Right.
That sort of takes place in the movie.
So, yep.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's if you
So
haven't
now
seen
you
the
know
movie,
where they
go see it
stole
'cause
the
it's
idea for the
interesting.
movie.
Based on
It is
real
a
life
very
events.
we talked about the fact that maybe I was the one that said it, but it's not a have a bowl of popcorn and have a beer kind of Friday night movie,
Right,
but
before
it's
you
a
go to bed.
Saturday morning, Sunday morning cup of coffee, and it's very interesting, and it's a serious topic and
Yeah.
obviously applicable in real life right now, but it's
Right.
very
But-
fascinating insight.
I was fascinated because I think the process that they show in the movie is very accurate. I
Okay.
would be, I
100%.
would bet that it's pretty accurate, right?
Yep.
The storyline is maybe a little bit far
I
fetched,
don't know.
although there's probably a
There's
lot
a
of
couple-
similarities
yeah,
here.
yeah.
I just want to know when they're going to finally elect a cardinal from the Archdiocese in St. Louis, so that we'll have a St. Louis cardinal.
Boom, boom.
On that note, Tim, time for a second message from Navigant Credit
Or
Union.
maybe we could get a Baltimore Oriole.
Oh gosh.
We are in the beginning of lending season here, folks, for for things like houses and home improvements, pools, all kinds of stuff that you might be able to use the equity in your house for. And I say that because you've probably had a lot of equity in your house show up over the last couple of years. The price of houses have gone up, the values have gone up. So the equity that you have in your house, you can probably use to your advantage if you're looking to make some home improvements. So if you're thinking about doing that, give us a call at 233-4700. Go in to visit Christian at the team at Park Square or any of our other branches. I should give some love to the North Smithfield branch too, because they're really good. But if you just want to do an application online, you can go online at navigantcu.org. Go to the Lending Center. There's several different types of home equity loans and lines that you can choose from. Fill out the application. It's that simple. And you'll have your money probably within the month.
All right.
Might even be within a couple weeks.
Well, there you go.
Thanks, Tim. More of the Coffee and program coming your way. Stick around.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up gołąbki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
I'm Sia, and I support Humane World for Animals, formerly called the Humane Society of the United States. Together, we have created a new version of Peter Gabriel's beautiful song, Salisbury Hill, to celebrate Humane World for Animals and everything they do. Enjoy the song and join us in helping Humane World for Animals end animal cruelty.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. And this is Joe Callahan here with John Ward and Tim Draper and Melissa Smith. And so the trial continues down there for the North Kingstown ex-basketball coach with the fat test trial. I guess that's what we're all calling it. And he testified in his own defense, but you don't think he did a very good job of it? He basically admitted it, right?
I don't think he could have said anything that would have been acceptable.
I think the issue
but
was it the only issue now is, was it sexual in nature, or
Some
was
say
it,
yes,
or was it he was just thinking he was doing the right by the kids, and so that's I think what you have to decide.
No kid has come forward to say that he was approached or touched inappropriately, other than they were made to get naked. So it may have more of just a voyeuristic quality than
it's
he's gonna have to pay
creepy
some
quality
price.
than actual contact.
Right.
Where he tried to seduce somebody and have a sexual relationship with them.
All of it is.
What I don't understand, and I've actually said this to someone and had them try to defend it as a practice. It's like, these are high school kids. This is the kind of stuff you do when you think someone is going to go professional and they have to fine tune their body to make things just right to be at the highest levels possible. High school kids are supposed to be playing basketball almost competitively recreational.
Yeah.
Not, I'm going to make a career out of this. Unless they're going to make a career out of that.
Then
let them go to their private doctor and figure out how to improve their body, or a trainer.
He thought he was doing
The
things
right
that would
thing.
help them in their performance.
And
help
some
them
people,
understand
some of
where
the
their
kids who are
body
now adults
were, yeah.
testified to that exact fact.
Yeah.
He helped me
Become a better athlete.
a better athlete to get on the team.
Right. It's
And
just,
so they were okay with it. Okay, they were a minority. Most of the others were not.
that's what he did was just wrong.
All right. All right. Karen Reed goes on and on.
I love how he looks right at me.
Okay,
Well, you're the expert.
Not that
You're
it's,
the panelist
not,
expert on
not
this
that it's
trial.
funny, but
There's a lot of funny things
Is
happening.
there new stuff?
There's some
being
new
brought
stuff.
up?
well,
Let's
they
see
brought
what
up
you gotta say.
they played the voicemail messages of Karen Reed calling John.
Did they not do that
wow.
the first time?
Yes, they did.
They did.
The only part different, in the first trial, they played these excerpts from the voicemails late in the trial. Now they brought them in early in the trial. I'm not sure what the why they did it that way. Maybe so that it's in the jury's mind right away. I don't know. But yeah, she's yelling at him on those voicemails and how much she hates him. But okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talked about the woman that said, "Oh yeah, I heard her say I hit him 3 times."
Mm-hmm.
And yet the cop testifies, "I was right there. I didn't hear a thing."
Yeah.
And if I had heard it, I would have arrested her right then.
Yeah.
And didn't.
I still can't
wow.
figure out, and
You know what? That's called reasonable doubt.
Right. That's,
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Well,
is
right
reasonable.
there.
it
yeah.
feels like, I don't know, maybe this has happened and I'm not aware of it. Have they had her evaluated by a psychiatrist to understand, like, or at least build a theory from the psychiatrist's perspective? Either her 50 voicemails that she left were like a traumatic reaction of guilt from hitting someone and not remembering, and not like if there was a subconscious reaction of like leaving those messages like erratically and hyper whatever. Or to the other side, like the evidence supporting the fact that she really didn't do it or wasn't aware that she did it. And she was just like, I don't think there was intent to kill him no matter what. It doesn't feel like whether she really hated him or was angry with him that she hit him intentionally. I don't think. I think it was either blackout trauma from hitting him and not remembering, and then the alcohol and all the things. Or, I mean, there's like so many directions you should go in this, but we haven't heard that there's a psychological evaluation of her.
That I haven't
and
heard.
building suspicion surrounding the reaction of 50 voicemails of hostility and
what's the
language.
charge? What is the level of charge here, though? Is it?
Well, it's murder in the second degree, I think.
Is it involuntary manslaughter, second degree? So they say it's second degree is that requires intent and motivation.
Yeah.
And if it was in a blackout situation, or if it was in a highly
Well, they're saying she ran him down intentionally.
Right.
right, that's what they're saying.
Right.
But
If she ran him down intentionally, wouldn't she have run him down?
Yes,
Head
back
first?
and forth.
Well,
But also
yeah.
back and forth. I mean, you would have like made sure you did it. Like, you would have like gone backwards
Melissa,
and gone
I like
back.
well, I'm not going to get you angry.
She's gonna.
What I love is that we're on the
drive over
radio
the
and no one can see my like flailing arms when I'm storytelling. But
Oh, we're gonna see him now. Though.
I can. Okay, stop
yeah, be
flailing
sure to
around.
log on to Facebook later and watch the live stream from the show this morning
Oh,
to
man.
see my flailing arms.
I just, in my opinion, there are still doubts about her guilt.
Yes.
But I truly believe she's nuts.
Oh, 100%.
Well,
Right.
Hands
But
down.
that doesn't mean that
Hands
she's,
down.
that she
That she did
intentionally
it, though.
killed
Well,
him,
because
or
there's
even
so
she
many
did
things
it.
that they still haven't
There's
brought into the
so-
fold still, and the
there's-
dog
Not
bites
yet.
and all the
Yeah,
things.
that hasn't come in
There's-
yet.
And the dog
Yeah.
happened to have been put down like a week after. It's just, there's
And
things.
and there's just all the. There's so many people involved in this thing that are all so interconnected. That just, I can just
Oh, yeah.
see the cover up taking place.
Well,
the
that goes
cover-up
back
is
to the
always
woman-
worse than the truth.
That goes back to the woman saying, I heard her say I hit him 3 times.
Yes.
She's involved with one of the guys that owns the house.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's the wife.
That's right.
And fascinatingly enough, if you watched the documentary and you saw her testify the first time, and then you saw her testify this time, she's had a little fluff and buff. She's been made up. Like, she now is camera ready.
And to look
her
better?
tone is calm and collected.
Well,
First
she's been
time she
coached.
testified, she looked
Scared or?
no,
No?
like angry and stressed and accusatory of Karen.
All right.
Now,
And
there's,
now it's been a little softened and a little.
that's an
Ooh.
interesting point.
All right.
I wonder,
Thank you, John.
and I don't know the rules of trial, but I wonder if the defense could use the contrast in her testimony as
They said
evidence
they could.
to say that it's not to be trusted.
Yes, no,
Maybe.
that's why they said it
Yeah.
on the news when I heard them talking about the differences, and they said that that is being called into question if they can allow her second testimony as evidence, because it's such a stark difference, and it's all been documented in
Yeah,
the documentary that was shown on was that Netflix?
interesting.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think this trial
Yeah.
is so damn complicated. Even Law and Order won't do it as a copy.
No, no,
We
this
can't
is-
get it. Can't get
they,
it into an
they
hour.
couldn't, they couldn't figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
It'd have to be like
Mm-hmm.
a 15-part series.
All right.
whole season.
We are coming down to the end of the show. Just one more thing. Many parents are rethinking the number of kids they are going to have because they can't afford to raise a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So we're just, let's just
Well,
have one.
The theorized $5,000 tax break incentive to have more babies isn't incentive enough to add to your group.
Unless it's $5,000 every month.
Yeah.
I mean, We can talk
77%
about
of
that. Did we
parents
on the
just
air? I
say
feel like
it's-
we need a whole nother show for that conversation.
Next week.
They did take a survey, and they said, and 77% of parents said, "Hey, it's a lot more money to raise a child than I thought."
Yeah.
They
I mean,
they
even the
need
Mormon
everything.
families are limiting themselves to 7.
Well, it's amazing. When my grandson, it costs more for my grandson to go to preschool.
Yeah, than work.
Or
And for
yeah,
you to
preschool.
go to college?
No, than to go to private, like Catholic school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow.
Wow.
It's out of control.
All right. Well, we got to end the show right on that note. So
No,
thank you very much for listening in. Always appreciated. Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. See you next week.
Very good. And Tim Draper,
It
thanks
is
for coming in.
always fun to be here, Joe.
All right. And Mr. Ward.
And to finish it off, just a reminder, by this time next week, we will know what the city of Woonsocket's budget draft proposal is to the
And we should have
council.
a new quote.
And maybe we'll have an audit for 2023 done. But
Well,
I'm not making bet on that one, but I'm making bet on the budget
Don't
because it's
hold your
due
breath.
Monday. So enjoy the God-given day. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Have a
This is
great
Joe
one.
Callahan. We'll speak again this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember is coming up right after the news.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is